What president are we on?
We just
Carter.
got done with, well, maybe we're done.
Yeah, so this is what Carter did. He put on a sweater. He said, cool it, guys. Put on a sweater. And people said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, too, into Reagan. They were like, no more.
No, so Reagan got to take credit for Carter, more than anything, wanted to free the hostages before he left office. And he actually did that. He was up all night for several nights. He was haggard. There's a great story about the day of Reagan's inauguration that Carter went to get him. That's the tradition, is the sitting president goes and collects the new president and takes him, escorts him. So the story was that he went to Reagan's hotel room where he was staying, and him and Nancy were, Reagan was putting on his tie and Nancy was getting dressed, and it was like fuck smell in the room.
Oh, no.
Story. I remember reading this somewhere.
Which you have to.
The Carter was like, they fuck. They're like in it.
Stinks like sex in here.
Yeah,
these two
they
fucking,
fucked.
these freaks.
Yeah.
They power
came
hungry.
all over her.
Horny from the power
Yes.
he just assumed.
He gave her another pearl necklace.
Yes.
And so that was the thing.
Wasn't there a thing coming out with Nancy was good at giving head?
Yeah, recently.
I don't know what that was.
Nancy
I didn't
Reagan,
really look into it.
Frank Sinatra says that a very important secret to singing is that you eat an apple and you wait an hour and then you throw it up because it creates a gravel in your throat. It gives you texture. He learned this from Nancy Reagan. There's only one way that a woman would learn this trick is because she's fucking bulimic. One day she ate an apple, she threw up, and then she's like, I sound great. So the next time she worked with Sinatra, she's like, you should do, Frank.
Yeah.
And she spread it as like a trick of the trade. That was Nancy Reagan. She probably did it with cum too. I don't know.
I think she did it with cum.
These people are all dead, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But so Nancy and Ron, Jimmy Carter had this in his unsleeping, had this little observation that Reagan was grumpy on the inauguration. He didn't feel like doing it, and that they had just fucked. And then they all got in the limo together, and Jimmy got the news that the hostages were being freed, but Reagan got to announce it. So Ronald Reagan is...
Yeah, it's funny. I get all these legends from my Republican family.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'll tell you what, that pussy Carter couldn't get it done. Day one of Reagan.
That's right. Well,
those Muslims knew.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with a Republican.
That's right. So Reagan, and I heard this, my legend, so who knows which one's real. But Reagan was a fascinating president, 2 terms. There was
I got one. Did Nixon start the war on drugs? I think it was Nixon. I know Reagan. Reagan was huge on it.
Yes, Nancy Reagan said, "Just say no."
Yeah,
which was hated because people were addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Also, AIDS started with Reagan, and Reagan. I mean, he was the first AIDS. He fucked a monkey. He fucked Bonzo.
He fucked the monkey.
There's a bunch of movies about him and a monkey. Yeah,
he fucked
Bonzo. Bedtime for Bonzo. He fucked Bonzo.
That's where Bedtime for Bonzo
goes,
comes from?
Nancy, I think I got AIDS from. So Reagan, he was. There's a piece of footage of Reagan. There's a documentary about Huckleberry Finn, and it's about how it gets banned and then refound and banned throughout history. Huckleberry Finn has been banned by liberals who don't like the N-word, and then conservatives who don't like whatever they have a problem. It just keeps going back and forth.
Yeah.
And Mark Twain, there's some quote where Mark Twain said, I knew when I created Huck, he'd get in trouble his whole damn life. He knew that this was going to happen. Okay, so there's a character in Huckleberry Finn. I'm going to say his name. His name was Wow. That was his name. Now this won't be on YouTube. It'll just get.
Yes.
So, there's footage of Reagan, doing some tribute to Mark Twain, and whatever he's doing, he's opening a center or something, and he says, he goes, and who could forget the wonderful stories of Huckleberry Finn and his friend Jim. And you can see him look off, and you know that there's guys going, did we talk about this? Like, don't say it, Mr. President. But that's it. I mean, I read the books. That's his name, fellas. You can't say it. Oh, well, geez. I mean, that makes no sense. It's in the goddamn book. And so that you can see
like, don't say that
and
word.
His friend, nah, Jim, fuck this country. God damn it.
Yeah, don't say that. But then go ahead and do the war on drugs. Don't say that word.
Yeah. But so Reagan was, his whole he was president of SAG, and then he was governor of California. Hated hippies, just fucking hated them so much.
I gotta be honest. I think I would have too.
I think I probably would have hated. I mean, George Harrison hated hippies.
Yeah,
George Harrison. There's an interview with him where he went to Haight-Ashbury. He's like, I heard they're all, and he was like, they were just disgusting drug addicts. So yes, hippies are gross. They always were. So Reagan. I mean, there's so much about Reagan. For fuck's sake, he 2 terms, and George Bush was his vice president.
Cold War.
Mr. Gorbachev, take down this wall.
Yes.
And he called the
Gipper.
Soviet Union the evil empire.
Yeah.
And then there was that crazy, when they went to Reykjavik, like they got really close. He did have an obsession with bringing down the proliferation of nuclear weapons. It was something that he cared about. And so they had a treaty. They had a shot at a treaty. And they flew to Reykjavik, Iceland, the 2 of them. And it was this exciting time where there might be this treaty signed. And then there was this awful midnight footage, which you can also see, of the 2 of them leaving at the same time. And Reagan's going, nah. And Gorbachev's going like, what do you want from me? Reagan's going, no, man, no fucking way. And they get in their cars and they leave. And it was like, shit.
Yeah.
It was scary.
We're going to keep nukes.
And it looked like something worse might happen. But Gorbachev was an interesting dude, Something interesting was going on there, different from the other guys.
Yeah.
But so Reagan, I'm trying to remember the thing I was going to say, but Well, he was shot, and I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to talk about.
So I went to
that guy's out.
What's that?
He just got out.
Hinckley's out?
Hinckley's out. There's pictures. There's like TMZ's taking pictures of him.
Do you think if I kill Hinckley, that'll help me?
That'll help. Only if it's for Jodie Foster.
You think if I could, yeah. She's
Somebody's
still around.
Somebody's got to fuck Jodie Foster.
Somebody, I mean, in connection with that.
Yes.
So.
She said that?
What?
What did she say?
That's my favorite.
When he got out, apparently she was like, actually was kind of impressed when he...
No.
I swear.
She said that?
I've heard something else. I heard that she was talking to like Phoebe Cates or somebody.
She was being funny.
And she said to Phoebe Cates, like, hey, nobody ever shot the president for you, honey, or something like that. And there's a million stories about Jodie
really
Foster taking, which all might be false.
I think, didn't Ed Hinckley, I think he used to call her and like leave voicemails.
I don't know anything about
I think she was in college.
I don't think they had voicemail then.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Answering machine. He would call and be like,
send her tapes.
He's like, wait till you see what the fuck
Wait till you see.
I love
Jodie,
you
please
so
watch.
much.
Make sure you're watching TV.
I
went to
kill him. He just got fucked up.
My mom hated Ronald Reagan, hated him since the 70s, and she saw him coming. There was a thing about Reagan that was like Trump for Democrats, which was, it was like, it's a nightmare scenario. Reagan is a nightmare scenario. It's the end of all things. He is the worst guy in the world. And they had connections between him and white supremacy, like a bunch of them. Like the place he gave his first speech as a candidate is a famous, horrible. It's where the students were
in
killed.
Mississippi.
Yeah, it was like in that. It was like he's standing on their fucking the car that they took out of the mud. Not that, but he was there. So a lot of people made connections with that shit. But people hated Ronald Reagan before he was president. When he won, I remember my mom being deeply disturbed by it. And so there was this feeling he's not a good guy. We have a bad president from some people's point of view. And then other people, you were very aware, fucking loved the guy. I mean, so much. And the mask, the rubber mask of him, what became a thing. And SNL was making fun of him and all this stuff. But there were these people that just absolutely, they loved Reagan without any reason, and some people were on his side, all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of Democrats who just couldn't stand the guy. But life went on. And then when he got shot, I went to my friend Jeff Drew's house, and he said that the president just got shot. And things I remember watching on live TV again later. One was that, and one was Anwar Sadat being assassinated. The whatever president of I'm sorry, but I don't remember if it was fucking Egypt or Israel. But it was Sadat was killed, and I was watching it on the news live.
It was Israel.
I don't. Well, there was later
somebody got shot in Israel.
Yeah, I'm fucking up all the names.
Yeah,
but that was when Clinton was president. So
okay.
Anwar Sadat was on a military. They were having a parade, and there was troops marching in front of him, and they turned around and fucking.
That's got to be Egypt.
I mean, yeah, probably.
That
right?
Sounds about it.
I mean, it was not through hand grenades. It was his guys, and they turned around and just riddled. There was a bunch of guys like at a dais, like a whole bunch of dignitaries, and they just
what?
And I was watching this. I was watching the live news, and they broke in. And said, I mean, I was somewhat watching. There was a special report. That used to be a big thing. Now it's every fucking news break.
Breaking.
Yeah, breaking news. Anwar Sadat is dead. We have footage. It's straight out of the beta cam, and it hasn't been edited. We're going to warn you that this hasn't been edited. And I watched this footage of a guy just watching the fucking parade, and then the lens goes down. And then he goes up on the bandstand, and you see a guy holding his own arm with
what the
cut
fuck?
Off, and there's like strands of blood and stuff and muscle, and he's holding it, and he's dazed, like asking people walking by, like, "What do I do with my arm?" Like that kind of thing, and just blood. I mean, I was a kid, and I saw that on TV. And the other thing was Reagan had just been shot when I got to Jeff's house. And we sat down and we watched that footage, 20,000, of him like the dumb, and he got thrown into the limousine. And
Hinckley,
his own guy, jumped on him.
Didn't he kill one of the guys?
He killed a cop. James Brady who was the press secretary, took one to the head. And was like this for the rest of his life. And the Brady bill was this big gun. His whole life became about gun control.
How the fuck
the Brady
bill
was started by his family, by James Brady, who was Republican, conservative Reagan's press secretary. He was his spokesman. Very, very brilliant guy who suddenly was like this and talk like that. And he would make speeches, and his wife would help him. And the Brady bill was like, of course we're going to pass this. Because it was, and a lot of Republicans were in favor of it. But the NRA was just a motherfucker. There was no way to pass it. You looking up James Brady?
No, I'm just looking at how funny Hinckley is now. Look at him. He's just leaving a Subway.
Oh, he looks exactly like me.
He's doing pretty good.
He looks like me. He's got the same body.
Playing guitar.
Good for you, John.
To CNN.
Good boy.
Man who shot Reagan is now posting love songs online.
He's like, I got to get chicks the old-fashioned way. Sing him a song.
Just leaving Subway.
I used to shoot presidents to impress girls, and now I just sing him a song. Like a good old boy.
I hope he gets pussies
What
playing
is he
guitar.
eating there?
It's a Subway, dude. Just get a nice
Subway,
hoagie.
just like Jared. If he keeps eating those, he can get skinny like Jared and fuck
now
children.
He's going to get some pussy.
He can be a kid fucking president murdering guitarist. This guy's not done.
He's
building
got
his
chance.
brand. He's still building his brand.
He's got a shot.
I mean, he looks young and healthy.
It's funny to be fat and be like, I'm trying to get pussy. I could
So
either,
you know the story about
go
him
to the gym.
that he had. These are the legends. He had dinner at George Bush's house. Apparently, like a couple of weeks before he shot the president.
No.
Look up John Hinckley and the Bush family. Their families were linked. The Hinkleys, I think, gave money to the Bushes or something like that. But apparently, Hinckley was a guest in a Bush house an alarmingly short amount of time before he shot President Reagan. And a very interesting thing about it is that George Bush was where when Reagan was shot? Do you know where George Bush was?
When Reagan was shot?
Texas. He was in Texas. There's this thing about
Wasn't
Texas.
he in Dallas when Kennedy got shot?
That's what folks say. And he was at like Texas is this place to like it feels like
he was Skull and Bones.
But Skull and Bones, very big. George Bush, and we'll get to him, but George Bush was a power nerd, and he was a guy who really hated Reagan.
The shooter's father, John Hinckley Sr., was friends with George H.W. Bush.
Yes. So he's like
regular contributors to the Bush campaign.
Yes. How's your son? How's your boy John? Oh, I got to tell you, he's troubled. He's troubled. Troubled, is he? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe I should have a talk with him.
He's like, hey, you want to fuck Jodie Foster?
Oh, he's like, so tell me what's going on. I'm just really into Jodie. I'm just really in love with Jodie Foster. I know that's weird. I'm in love with Jodie Foster. Well, son, you can't just sit on your keister. You got to do something. I mean, what could you do to get her? Well, how should I get? I wrote her letters. I wrote hundreds of letters. A girl like that, she's famous. You got to do something for everyone to see.
Yeah, I'll tell you who she hates.
Do something that's going to make everybody see.
I just talked to Jodie. You know who she really hates?
I mean, if you were to do something to, you know what they say. Now, was Lenin dead yet? Lenin was 1980. He was shot in 1980.
December 8th.
And when was Kennedy? When was Reagan shot? When was Lenin shot? Important dates.
Reagan was shot in 81.
So
Reagan was shot in 81. So right after fucking David Chapman killed Lenin.
Yeah.
And he said, the Beatles changed the world and I changed the Beatles. You know what that Chapman fellow said? I read this in Rolling Stone magazine. He said, the Beatles changed the world, and gosh, they sure did. And I changed the Beatles. That's what he said. So I don't know. I mean, a fella could find someone who's really changing the world. I don't know. I mean, anyone, Stevie Wonder, Ronald Reagan. And
Ronald
Reagan. And maybe have an effect on his life. I mean, what do you. Anyway, so yeah, so Hinckley was like, I don't know why you're talking about that, but I know what you're saying. And so then he went to his bedroom and he looked in the drawer and he found a gun. He's like, "Where's this gun come from?"
I left something for you.
I left you a little something.
You know you have to do something.
Yeah. So if you're the vice president and you have anything to do with the president being shot, you need to be in Texas, because if there's any sort of like, we have word that vice president, whatever, and then the governor of Texas is like, we're not extraditing him. Like, it's the one place he might be able to hole up and maybe even stage a coup from. He's like, no, we're the Republic of Texas now. Like, it could work. So Bush is in Texas and he refuses to come to Washington. It was a big deal because he just should have taken over, but he refuses to come to Washington. He's like, I'm not going to show up in the White House while the Gipper's fighting for his life. He made big statements about it. But he stayed away. And it got really chaotic, as we all know. There's a great movie.
How long was Reagan out?
I think a few days, but Nancy. So there's an amazing movie made by HBO called The Day the President Was Shot. Richard Crenna plays Reagan, and Richard Dreyfuss plays Alexander Haig. And it's like a comedy in a way. But anyway, when Nixon was when Reagan, they drove him to George. There's a hospital that's for the president. First of all, the cottage, the White House, they have a emergency room. They have everything there. But he was bleeding. He was spitting blood. So,
Hinckley.
And
Hinckley got him.
He got him. He fucking shot him in the armpit.
The president's in a limo.
Shot him. And then he thought his bodyguard jumped on him. And then he said, I think you broke my rib. That's what he thought happened. He said, I think you broke my rib. So they were going to go back to the White House to get him looked at. But then he started spitting lots of blood. And so they went straight to George Washington Hospital, which was just a fucking homeless people out front. And the fucking limousine by itself just screeches up. And they brought a gurney, but the president said, I'm not going in on my back. You're not doing that.
What?
To me. It's true. And he walked in. Like, yeah. And this great. This movie. The best part is showing him hello walking by, and you see this black guy go like, "Oh shit!" Like, "Oh shit!" Like just 80s black guys who are in front of a hospital, like their wife's fucking having a baby, they're smoking, and that's the fucking president. And he's like, "Hello." And then as soon as he got inside.
Hey, fellas, how are you?
Yes, he crumbled. And they got him on the gurney, and they're going, and he came to at one moment because the nurse was holding his hand, and he said, "Does Nancy know about you and me?" And then right before he went under,
a charming devil.
Yes, the doctors right before anesthesia, they said, "Mr. because they had to tell him he was the head of the fucking world, and he was in charge, and they didn't know, do we he's going under anesthesia, and they said, "Mr. President, we're going to put you under. We have to get this bullet out of you." And it was an exploding bullet.
Hinckley.
So the doctors were all in danger. Hinckley used an exploding bullet.
What?
And it was next to his heart. It was like leaning against his heart like this, the bullet. And so the doctors said, "We got to get this bullet out of you, so I'm going to put you under now." And he said, "I hope that you guys are Republicans." And the doctor, who was not a Republican, said, "Mr. President, today we're all Republicans." And he saved his life. But he was he was on death's door for a few days. Now, the White House has Alexander Haig saying, "I'm in charge here at the White House. He was the Secretary of State. He had no business saying that. He was like, he made up this thing by the laws of succession, I would be next. It's like, no, you're like 20th down. And meanwhile, at the hospital, Nancy's there with the chief of staff, and there was a battle between the White House and the guys at the hospital. So they needed to prove that Reagan was functioning as a president. So they needed a photograph, and they needed him to do a piece of business. So they had the dairy bill, some bill that's like for dairy subsidies that needed to be signed.
Jackpot for those guys.
Yes. So they're like,
"Holy shit. We did it, Hinckley!" Hinckley, baby, I love you.
Hinckley! That's what it was. It was the milk people. The milk people did the whole
Big
thing.
milk, dude.
For another 15 cents on a fucking carton of milk. So Nancy got enlisted, and they said, "You need to do this, and you need to handle him like you handled him in the movies." And so she put makeup on his face, and she like slaps, she said, "Ronnie, you gotta wake up." And they leaned his bed up like this, and she just kept trying to wake him up. And this is all in the movie, done very well, but it's true. And they took a picture of him like, there's this picture of him, like a really weird picture that I think did more harm than good. And then he signed
he looks great.
Yeah, he signed the dairy bill. It's a great picture. One great picture is very rare to find of Reagan. He had many operations. He was a very sick and dying old man.
Yeah.
He had some brain, like something taken off his brain or something. So he had half of his head was shaved. And he was coming out of the airplane, and he had a baseball cap on, and he went like this.
Oh no!
And Nancy's going, "Don't!" She's like horrified, and because he thought it was funny. Half his head is shaved. It's creepy. I saw that picture once. I never saw it again. So anyway, Reagan survived, obviously, and then that just was a massive lift.
Yeah,
I remember as a kid, my mother hated Reagan, and I was just like, "Yeah, good, good for you, Everybody was happy for him. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Oh my God. Yeah,
she's really mad. Yes. So Reagan,
Iran, this is a guy rocking.
Iran-Contra happens. They were there were still some hostages in Iran, and they were offering the Iranians weapons in exchange for hostages and money. And then they were going to use the money to fund the Contras and in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And it was all done by this guy, Oliver
North.
Yeah. Colonel Oliver North. It was Reagan. It was dirty. It was a dirty Reagan thing. And Reagan said, "I take responsibility for it." Because I'm not sure what I remember that I was told about this and we're looking into it. But make no mistake, it's my responsibility. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
So he did that, and it kind of got him through it. And it made people believe that he was really looking into it. And then they pinned it all on this guy who, I remember his hearings it was the biggest deal since Watergate. Iran-Contra-Gate. That's what it was the first thing that they said gate about. And Oliver North he said,
What a dumb thing to add.
He said somebody pitched this idea to me of the missiles, and then the money, and he said I thought it was a neat idea. And when everybody heard him say that, it became plausible that this fucking dummy he just was stupid and crazy, and that he did it. He later ran for governor of Virginia as a Republican. Might be West Virginia, I'm sorry. But Chuck Todd, who was that lieutenant that sent the tape to Lyndon Johnson's son-in-law, who was thought to be the next he was supposed to be the next Kennedy, but he had a bad coke habit. But he was cool enough to be a senator. He was senator from, I think, West Virginia for years. And he just didn't care anymore. So there's another great documentary called The Perfect Candidate. And it's a really great, it's a documentary about him running against Oliver North. Decided after all this shit had happened, he's going to run. And it teaches you something about presidential politics. That's why I'm bringing it up. So Chuck Todd was a Democrat. He's like one of these guys you have now, just a machine Democrat. Like there's a scene in the documentary where a reporter asks him, what do you think of furlough programs in prisons? And he goes, what? I haven't say anything about I haven't said anything about that. The guy goes, well, what do you think about it? He goes, I haven't changed my position on, I have a very good record on crime. And he goes, I'm just asking your opinion.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I appreciate the work that everybody has done. And he walks away. And the guy's like, I can't even get an opinion on this. That's who's running, right? He's a tool. Yeah. And he's the Democrat. And then Oliver North, he announces his candidacy in a black church, all black ladies. And he's this notorious guy. Mm-hmm. And he says, I've made terrible, terrible mistakes in my life. And you hear the black women,
they'll forgive him.
And he goes, and I'm a bad man. I've been a bad man. But there's one thing I love. And that's the people of West Virginia. And he starts crying.
Oh, my God.
And they just love him. They love him. And he's winning he's going to be a senator. Yeah. It's a big deal. And then right at the end of the documentary, Clinton, who is just sweeping the country, comes in and spends like 2 days just going, Chuck Todd is the only man in this. And the black women love Clinton. And he put him over the top. Okay. Reagan gets old. He gets Alzheimer's while he's in office. Nancy Reagan very openly talked about this once he was dead because Alzheimer's became her issue. And so she didn't mind giving his legacy away because it was more important to take care of the disease. So she gave us some great stories. One of them was that she was at she was always at meetings. And he told a funny story, and then ate some chicken, and then he told it again.
Oh, no.
Told it twice. And everyone was there, Ed Meese or whoever the guy's in. And she said in his presence, do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Does anybody, do we see what's happening here? Because she was really concerned.
Yeah. And they're like, no.
So they started having meetings about it. And there's a great story. Reagan's doctor, which you can look it up, decided to talk about it. And then he went to Reagan's ranch in California. And Reagan was chopping wood. His body never gave up on him. He was as fucking strong as a piece of oak. He was chopping wood in a red flannel. You could just see this, you know, on his ranch. And the doctor comes up and he says, Mr. President, I got an issue. He says, some of us think that you might be losing your mental capacities. And right now you're okay, but you're declining. And I need to know what to do if I perceive that because I can't talk to you once you lose your mind. Yeah. We can't have this conversation. Maybe in a year or so, I won't be able to have this conversation with you because you won't be cognizant. So while you're still okay, and I think you are, I need instructions from you. What do I do when I believe that you've left the earth? And Reagan just took it as a piece of business. He took off his leather gloves and he said, well, speak to Nancy and speak to the chief of staff and the the head Democrat, the speaker, whoever was the number one Democrat, get them in a room and make a committee and tell them, I'll do whatever they say. And so that didn't end up happening.
Yeah.
The second time he won the presidency was a moment for me too as a kid, because he won and it was just this dun, 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 that every time a president won, and Nixon, this whole thing. And then when Reagan won the second time, he wasn't with balloons. He was in a hotel room, the footage you can find of him, and they cut to all these Republicans cheering, and they cut to him and Nancy on a couch watching on a TV, holding hands, and they look really upset. They're just sitting there, and he's literally going like this. And it may have been performative, but the signal was, I have to do it. It's my duty, but I don't want to do it. This is a grave responsibility. Yeah. He took it seriously, and he was frowning when he learned that he won. And that was a big character moment.
Yeah.
By an actor.
Of course.
But nonetheless, it was a big deal.
A lot of it's acting, a lot of these guys.
Yes.
And that's
Reagan. And then Bush ran against Mike Dukakis.
This is where I'm starting to become somewhat cognizant.
No.
I don't remember. I barely remember Clinton. Bush Clinton is like the first election I remember being like, yeah, fuck
that's
Clinton.
Amazing to me. That's amazing.
Fuck Clinton.
Well, because I remember, that's so funny.
Yours is Obama. I remember
that's so funny to me.
Bush's W's inauguration. That's like the first political thing I remember.
It's incredible to me because Clinton was a sea change.
Yeah.
Because Bush ran against Mike Dukakis, who was the governor of Massachusetts, where I was from. So he was our governor. And he was running against Jesse Jackson in the primaries. And Jesse Jackson was just like killing. He was out there making these speeches. People loved Jesse Jackson. What's that?
Was that Hymietown?
Was that
Jesse Jackson?
He called New York Hymietown.
Wasn't he in like the garden?
I think he said it like, hey, Hymietown. Yeah, he called New York City Hymietown. Yes, he sure did.
I like that.
And so Jesse Jackson attacked Cedric the Entertainer many years later for a character he played in Barbershop where he says, fuck Rosa Parks. I'm sick of hearing about Rosa Parks. It's a really funny scene where he's a black guy saying, I don't give a shit about Rosa Parks. And Jesse Jackson said he never should have said that. She's you don't touch this woman with your humor. And he's yelled at, and Cedric was a religious guy and he was upset. And I was pissed off at Jesse, and I just did once in a while I do this kind of dumb thing. I called the fucking the Rainbow Coalition. That's his office in Chicago. And this woman answered the phone. Hello? And I go, I have a complaint about Jesse Jackson. She goes, who are you? And I said, I'm just a citizen, and I don't agree with what she said. And he says, he don't care what you think, young man. And she hung up.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because, sometimes I've called the White House like 4 times in my life and said, hey, and they say, yes, tell me the thing. And they politely take it down. I called Trump when Trump was like not conceding the election.
Yeah.
I called the White House and it was deep into it.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, hello, White House. It's a switchboard operator.
You're calling the White House?
And you say, I want to make a complaint. And she says, yes, I'll put you through. And they either, they give you a voicemail or they put somebody who just writes down, thank you very much. They take your comment and you just figure it's one of a trillion. But when I called Trump's White House, some guy, you could hear a loosened tie and unshaven. Some guy goes, hello, White House. And I go, hi, I want to make a complaint. He goes, what? I want to make a complaint. He goes, look, please just go to the website. Can you just go to the website? And I said, are you okay? And he goes, not great. I swear to God, I had this conversation. He goes, not great. I said, okay, well, I hope you have a better day. He said, thank you. I do appreciate that. So it was at that point, awesome. The White House was in a place where it was like, Trump's like, somebody get the fucking phone. The fucking phone is ringing. It was like nobody's left.
It was the end of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
like
everybody.
The dudes were falling apart.
It was nuts. But so Jesse Jackson was running in a great comedian named Barry Crimmins.
Wait, I can't believe you're calling the White House.
I call the White House occasionally. Yeah. I call radio talk shows sometimes. I called a radio talk show and spoke to John McCain on the phone once on the radio.
Yeah, what'd you tell him?
And he was in New York campaigning
Dude,
for Bloomberg. He was campaigning for Bloomberg to be mayor. Bloomberg was running against Mark Green, who was a firebrand, like anti-establishment guy. And I called McCain and I said, first of all, you should be supporting Mark Green because he's just like you. And he said, I love Mark Green. Like I got him to say, it's like, Mark Green's a great guy, but Mike's got it. Mike Bloomberg's got it. And I said, also, you should run for president. He's like, no, stop. Get him off. He was like, get him off the phone.
Yeah.
So that was my, and then later I met McCain at the Tonight Show. I was the lead guest and his daughter was the second guest. And I went and his daughter said, my dad wants to meet you. And I went to her dressing room and he was there. And I said, hey, I just love John McCain. I fucking love him. And I just saying, hey, man, I just, you're really something.
Yeah.
And he said, Louis, you're the best. Louis, you're the best. And he said, I heard you did USO shows. And I said, yeah, I was in Iraq. I was in Afghanistan. And so then when she was being interviewed, she brought out her dad. And he sat down and he sat down and he said, before, and Jay goes, hey, and McCain goes, before I say anything, I want to pay tribute to Louis C.K. because he went to the Middle East, put his life in danger to entertain our troops. And how about that? And he got the crowd.
Wow.
First thing out of his mouth.
That's fucking cool.
And he said that he wanted to exchange numbers because we both read a lot of the same books. He's a great guy. I never got to talk to him again after that. Okay.
You remember when Trump smashed?
What's that?
When Trump talked shit on him?
Oh, God, first of all, it was genius.
It's so funny.
Genius moment.
It was such a funny.
The thing about when you get to the schoolyard, you look for the biggest kid and you punch him in the nose. You might get your ass kicked, but no one else will fuck with you. Yeah. So in the politics at that time for Trump, it was like, who's the most loved? Who's the most loved man in American politics? John McCain. I'm going to call him a loser. I like the guys who don't get shot down.
Yeah.
The guys who don't get shot down are the guys who avoid who don't do their jobs.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
No, it was a
Brilliant.
Good joke. Great joke.
Brilliant.
I mean, great level of shit talking.
So
people calling somebody a war hero and being like, I mean, he got captured.
I mean, that was one of those.
What a fucking
Trump
loser.
had so many moments where I was just like, oh my God.
That was one that was the
and
one.
Again, from the backstory of every detail I remember about all these guys. But anyway, let's wait.
Yeah, let's go here. We got George.
I mean, we got
Herbert Walker. Yeah, we got.
Okay.
Let's skip.
Okay.
Oh, this one's too. Damn. Skip HW. Fuck it.
Okay. Herbert Walker Bush.
CIA. Evil. If you look into everything they've done.
He engineered his whole life to become president. He had Reagan shot, and his father, Prescott Bush,
Kennedy.
Prescott Bush, was a senator. And he traded with the Nazis. Like, he got censured by the Senate for selling goods to the Nazis back when they were. There's a lot of Americans making money selling shit to Hitler.
Yeah.
If you ever go to 30 Rock, where
I was almost there, yeah.
You were almost there. But then you said something terrible. Just terrible. Shane, how dare you? I just remembered. Get out of my house. Oh! Shame on you, Shane Gillis.
I like my SNL cast
Shame
members
on
who
you.
Didn't get cut.
I worked at Conan, which is in the same building, and the producer is Jeff Ross, not Jeffrey Ross, the comedian. This is the producer, and he was really interested in history. And he said, "You want to see something cool?" And he took me into there was a stairwell in 30 Rock, and he took me in there, and he pushed my head down. There's these big red pipes in the stairwells that are feeding the whatever sprinklers. I don't know what they're. Big iron red pipes that have been there since 30 Rock was built back in the late 30s by Rockefeller. And there's a big spigot coming off of the side of one of them with a big wheel. It's some release valve, and on the side of it is a fucking Nazi, like an embossed Nazi, and it's raised. It's not painted.
Oh,
on.
it's in the yeah.
It's a swastika. And he said, these are all of the steel in this building is Nazi steel. It's all German steel. That was the flag.
Fuck?
It wasn't a political flag. Like, it was a political flag, but it was also just the flag of Germany.
Yeah.
So if you bought German steel, It was like made in USA.
Yeah, you're not going to
It
tear
had
down
a
the building.
swastika on it, and they bought it. And he said all of the steel in 30 Rock has swastikas on it. But at one point they turn them into the corners, but they can't turn these spigots. So every time I used to go to 30 Rock,
Holy
like when I
shit.
hosted SNL, I would take anybody who didn't know about it and show it to them. But the last time I went there, they had shaved it down. Somebody got in there with a thing and shaved it down.
Holy shit.
But so that's how fucked up. So that's Prescott Bush was one of the guys making money on Nazis. And then it's Skull and Bones guy.
Yeah.
George Bush, H.W.
Skull and
Bush,
Bones,
Skull
yeah.
and Bones. But he was a kind of a Nixon-y thing where I think he went too far. He got Reagan shot. He just went through too many fucked up things.
Some of us remember reading
Yes, and he was
head of the
supposed to
Dickens
run. He was
book
supposed to win it. But this
about
is
debt of prisons. Remember that? Debt of prisons. Oh, that was terrible in the 1800s
Because-
in England.
and
Like
again,
a
not
news
based
deal.
on
We got debt of prisons in the
But
United
how
States today.
dug in Reagan and Bush felt. And Bush just felt like, you ain't going to beat this guy with nothing. These guys are in, and there's Dick Cheney in there. And Donald Rumsfeld, these fucking guys are like, these are hard ass fucking guys who don't bleed. You just don't believe they bleed. And they got it all worked out. And they've been there for 12 fucking years.
Yeah.
And here comes Clinton, whose mom was a blackjack dealer in Vegas and whose dad died in a 3-inch puddle. He died. He was drunk and he hit a tree and was launched out of his car and landed in 3 little feet of water and drowned in it. That was Clinton's dad. And then that was Jefferson, his father. His name was.
Was that his real dad or his
His
stepdad?
dad's last name is Jefferson.
Yeah.
It would have been another Jefferson. That was his real dad. His mom then married a guy named Clinton
He changed his name.
and had,
for him
had
as-
Roger. And his mom, and that guy used to beat the shit out of his mom. And the second Clinton got big enough, one night his stepdaddy came home drunk and he stood up to him and he said, if you hit my mom again, I'm going to kill you. And he used to protect his little brother. And his little brother was like an orphan. His dad's a drunk.
Yeah.
So the dad disappears. And the day that Clinton turned 18, he was already in charge of the family. The day he turned 18, he took his brother to City Hall. And he said, you know what I'm doing today? I'm changing my last name to Clinton so that you and me are real brothers. That's why his last name is Clinton.
Yeah.
That's who Bill Clinton is. Okay? And he fucked a bunch of 10-year-old girls on a jet.
He also fucked those kids. but he did. That's the problem.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. It wasn't
not
my
looking-
pussy. It wasn't my pussy.
It
so I
wasn't
can't
mine, but
report.
it's not looking good.
Oh, it's not looking good at all.
I mean, he took
I don't
a
know.
lot of those.
Listen.
He loved the ladies, which
I know
we
nothing
can't knock
about
a
it.
guy for liking ladies. But
Those aren't ladies. Those are babies.
no, I meant his reputation.
Look, I don't know. I don't fucking
Outside of banging the kids, his reputation was
love the ladies. Yes.
Lewinsky and the other
Sure.
lady.
So Clinton, but Clinton was this fucking country good old boy, and they threw. And I mean, we had just lost Gary Hart. He was. That's why Dukakis ran,
Yeah.
because Gary Hart got caught with a chick, and so that was Democrats' problems. Is the
They're getting
ladies.
too much pussy.
Too much pussy. And so
Going
so
against
Clinton
Bob
shows
Dole.
up, and the first thing that happens in New Hampshire is fucking Jennifer Flowers. And but then there was this feeling that it was a kind of a circus. And I remember Howard Stern's guy, Stuttering John. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Stuttering John. Stuttering John. Jennifer Flowers' first like her press conference, it was like a serious thing, and she's like, "Yes, I did have sex with him." And then you heard Stuttering John. He's a fuck who he fucked. Hillary stood by him. We did the interview with him and with Barbara Walters. A light fell from the grid and crashed on the floor right next to them. And the Clintons hugged, and they were both crying.
Proposing a
So it was like
$40
they were
million
under a lot of stress,
initiative
and they almost one of them
led
died.
by a
And
high-level
and
team from
Barbara
the White
Walters
House,
saw this
NASA, and
told
other
everyone the
agencies.
story.
to develop
And so
a
it was
plan
everybody started to
for
love
regional
Bill Clinton.
economic growth and
Same
job
as,
creation.
Same as
And I
all
expect
over
this
the
plan
board.
to reach my desk by
You ever
August
look at the
15th.
Clinton body count?
What's that?
How many people they've killed?
Oh, you mean Foster, the guy from
Yeah, he shot
Travel
himself.
Office.
Didn't he shoot himself twice? There's a bunch of guys who shot themselves twice in the head, stuff like that.
I don't know, but the
This is the only
Republicans,
history
Dick
I
Cheney
know
shot a
now.
guy in the face.
Dick Cheney, yeah, but that was fun. He was having fun with it.
I know. I'll tell you about that. But so Clinton made me feel like I can't believe this. They just got rid of the Bushes.
Yeah.
They got rid of Cheney. They really like in my lifetime that didn't exist. The idea of that. So I was pretty fucking impressed. Likewise with Obama later. But so that made me think, maybe this is actually some kind of, and then later you learned that Clinton and Gore together learned how to go for business and tell big business, look, we're going to make you a fortune. Don't worry about the social issues. We're going to take care of the poor. We're going to do all kinds of programs, but we're getting rid of welfare. He got rid of welfare. And he was also a death penalty governor.
Yeah.
He put a retarded guy in the electric chair. He put a retarded guy in the electric chair when he was governor. He literally just he was drunk and he just said, come here. And he's like, what are you doing? And he just took him and he put him in it. And he said, never mind, just fucking shut up. Killed a retarded guy single-handedly. Clinton, I loved Clinton when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I loved Clinton. Just loved him. And I remember when Coretta Scott King died, her funeral, he closed it. I think Jesse Jackson was there. Every president was there. Everybody, past president, all the greats came to make speeches. And then Clinton wasn't, George W. Bush was president now. So Bush went before, but he let Clinton close. They all made speeches about how far we've come and the importance of Martin Luther King, and then they'd make a comment about her. It was really about Martin Luther King, and then she was a great woman. And Clinton just fucking talked. He went up there and he leaned on the podium and he said, we're all talking about a lot of stuff here, but there's a woman in that box.
The bottom line is nobody is more committed.
Dead body. There's a
man's
woman
face white.
Fine, beautiful.
A woman
human
supple.
who
exploration
had,
state.
he said,
Denied.
she had dreams.
But we've got to
She
do it
had
in a
passions.
smart way.
She was, and he made one word that sounded a little sexy.
And we can't just keep
And
on
look
doing
at
the
her
same
kids.
old things that
What
we've
are
been
they
doing
gonna do?
and thinking that
They're
somehow
already dealing
is
with
going to get us to
daddy's
where we want to
legacy.
go.
That's a burden on them. That's a burden on them. And it was a burden on her, and now it passes to them. And my God, what is it like to be them now? And you just hear people going, oh, that's what Clinton just had that ability. And he fucked so many children, just hundreds of them.
But he did fuck those kids on that island.
On the island of Kidfucker.
What was
Where do
he
you go?
doing?
What else are you gonna do on that island? What are you gonna go to that island and just stand by the Pepsi machine and just,
Trump went there.
look at your phone?
Trump only hung out with the staff.
Totally.
That's true, and it is funny the politics I have instilled in me.
Yeah.
I just remember I hated Clinton.
I just loved him.
I was 8 or however.
I
was like 5.
I was in New Orleans for
Yeah.
a film festival. I'd made a little shitty short film and it won Best Comedy at the New Orleans Film Festival. And I went down there, and this was back when you had to send a VHS of your movie, and then you'd get in the mail, you'd get a letter. I got a letter in the mail saying you won an award. So I went down to New Orleans. I was a kid in 1992. So I wasn't a kid. I was 18 plus 7, whatever that is. 25 sounds good. I went to New Orleans and I'm just walking around a park, and then this fucking bus pulls up with Clinton Gore on the side, and they just get out and start a rally, and there's people just started showing up. It was like at some park, and next thing I know, I'm at a Clinton, and Al Gore comes out and he says, the governor can't talk because his voice is destroyed by all these rallies, so I'm going to make the speech. And then he talked, and then
it's kind of
we're going to turn around. So it was just boring.
Yeah.
And then Hillary came out and said a few things. Nobody cared. And then Clinton came out, and it was like, oh, he's going to talk. And he was like, and he was a little hushed, but he made an amazing speech. And I was standing there, and I watched him make this speech. And then he came down off the podium, and he just walked. I stood there. Some guy handed me a placard. And so I had this placard, Clinton Gore. And he found me and there was this lady next to me, and she had a throwaway camera. That's how long ago this was. And she goes, can you take a picture of me with the governor? So I took a picture of her with Clinton, and some guy took a placard and put it in front of their faces, and he swatted it down. He said, "What's wrong with you?" Screamed at this guy, and he said to me, "Take it again."
Oh my God.
So I took another picture. Clinton. 8 years. The king of the world. Unbeatable. Gets Monica Lewinsky. Gets impeached.
The crime bill, though, that wasn't great.
I
Wasn't
don't.
that him?
Yeah, I don't fucking care what these guys do. Just a super interesting guy.
It's funny. It's just funny to speak at
Crime bill.
Coretta's funeral and then be like, crime bill.
Yeah. I don't know. So Clinton and Gore's vice president. And one of the fly on the wall moments, like the thing I wish I was there for, is apparently somewhere Clinton and Gore had to do an event together. And this is when Clinton needed to tell Gore that he fucked Monica Lewinsky, because Gore backed him up.
Yeah, everybody believed it.
Yes. When he was saying, like, let me tell you, we got to get in the business. I did not have sex with that. I did not have sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. And we have, like, he slipped her name in. So he sat in a limousine with Gore, apparently, and said, I fucked her. It's coming out. And Gore was like, well, gosh darn it. Jeez, Bill. I mean, it's like you're doing it to me on purpose. My God.
I believe that this nation should commit itself
dealt with it.
to achieving the goal
There's another fly in the wall
before this decade is out
later
of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
He was flying in Canada.
No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space.
And he drove.
He's a fucking loser.
Yes, and he drove to back to Washington, but he stopped in Chappaquiddick, and he got there like midnight. Chappaquiddick. What's the name of the Chappaqua? Where the Clintons live. They live in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Chappaqua. He stopped at Clinton's house, and they sat in the kitchen apparently till 3 a.m. just talking. That I wish I could have been in that room
just like,
for that.
damn,
on 9/11.
We could have got him.
Yes. Yeah. So
Do you remember that guy?
Which guy?
No, this is them sitting in the kitchen
Yeah.
like, holy shit, it was
Yes.
him?
Yes. Exactly.
Hinckley?
Yeah.
He did it?
Exactly. So Clinton gone, and then Gore and Bush, and you had the crazy. I mean, I'm getting tired, so it's hard to get into like
Sure.
Bush's the hanging Chads.
Yeah.
And Bush was another like, this is going to be a nightmare. And I remember, and the guest ahead of me was Jill Cheney, Cheney's wife. She is a historian, and she wrote a book about Madison and the framers. And he would just ask her questions, and she's a fascinating woman, fucking brilliant historian. And she talked ad nauseum about all the people we did in the first one.
Yeah.
And I was just riveted. And then they brought me in as they were taking her out. And I was just trying to, like, she's not my world. And somebody said, we just need your microphone because we need to give it to the next guest. And she said, who's the next guest? And they said, Louis C.K. And she said, Louis B.K.? Louis, where is he? Where is he? And she turns around, I'm standing there, and she goes, you're Louis B.K. And I'm not going to correct her.
Yeah.
I go, yep, I'm Louis B.K. She goes, oh my God, my grandchildren love you. We're getting a picture. You're going on Twitter with me, son. Come here.
What?
And she took, you can find this.
Do a picture of you and Liz Cheney?
Picture of me with Liz Cheney.
Jill. Liz is the
I don't
daughter.
fucking-
Yeah.
well, she called me Louis B.K.
Yeah,
So fuck her. But so we took a picture, and she tweeted it.
Damn. I wonder if Dick ever watched.
I have no idea.
He's probably like, this guy's kind of an asshole.
This guy's kind of a piece of shit. But yeah, so that's Cheney and
Bush in 9/11.
Bush, and then after Bush was president, I told this story on Conan. I'm not going to tell it again. That's fucking boring. But I saw Bush. I was in traffic, and then his motorcade just was next to me. And I looked, and I saw him through the window of the SUV. And I'm just
Now, it's
another like dull like
There
moment.
are
I'm like,
Floridians
fuck Bush.
who will
But I
see
look
their
at him
work
and he
on the
goes
shuttle end
like
as
this,
the
and I'm
program
like,
winds down.
like I just
Of
couldn't
course,
help it.
of course.
Of course.
It's
Of course.
based on a
You
decision
have to.
that
Yes.
was made 6 years
but
ago.
the thing I liked about
Not
Bush
6 months
was
ago.
that when the guy
But
threw
that doesn't
shoes
make
at
it any
him.
less painful for families.
Do you remember that guy
and
threw
communities
2 shoes at him?
decision
He got
becomes
2
reality.
shots.
Yeah.
Talk about fucking
Lee Harvey
Oswald
got him.
getting 2 shots with a Bolt rifle. This guy got 2 fucking shoes off. With the fucking at a standing target with the press all around him and his Secret Service are right there. He threw his shoe, Bush ducked, and then he threw another one, and Bush ducked. Because in
Came
the
back
Middle
up
East,
smiling.
yes, throwing shoes is the most insulting thing you can do is hit somebody with one of your shoes.
In America, you know what the most insulting thing you can do in the Middle East is?
What's that?
Kill everyone.
Kill all of them. Kill all of them.
I wonder if he was thinking that
Yes.
when he dunked. He was like, ooh,
I killed a lot of your family.
ooh,
Yeah.
I'm about to hit your wedding for this.
So bad. But Bush, they asked him about it afterwards, and he said, "Well, you know, I got good reflexes." And he said, "Look, he's in a country where you can, you know, he's not going to get killed for that. People express themselves. He always appreciated freedom of speech. He always appreciated.
Yeah.
He didn't never minded being made.
I think
fun
that guy
of.
went to jail.
I'm sure he did, but
Yeah.
when Bush was made fun of, he took it very well. When he was he would go on SNL and read jokes that were just devastating against himself, and he did them with really good timing. And
He was funny.
he was a funny dude.
He was
and
funny.
he got why that was important. And I remember he was debating Gore, and they did a typical thing they do in debates. They tell each other the bad things. So he told the moderator, said, Al Gore said this about you. And he reads some shitty things Al Gore said. And he goes, what's your reaction now that you're with him? And Bush goes like, I don't know. It was like, he's running for president. He goes, of course, he's going to go for it. He's running for president. I mean, it's the game. We're trying to win. We're trying to, you know, we have different views. He didn't care. And later also they asked him about the press. And he said, we counted on the press to keep us honest. He said, when you're out there making decisions that are outside of the decisions that come to the president are the ones that nobody knows what to do. The ones that are clear what the law is and what's practical, other people make those decisions. They go to the president where they're like, we're not sure what's legal here. And we're not sure what the American people would want here. And so it's the hardest job in the world because you have to deal with the cutting edge of where the country is going, why it's going there, and what people really want, even if they don't know what's going on. And what's legal, it's so unclear sometimes. And he said, I depended on the press because we knew they were probing everything. We knew they were watching everything, and we knew they were adversarial, that they were ambitious to bust us. And that made me comfortable because it made me confident that I'm not going to, in my confusion, make any real mistakes. Like that's a profound thing for a president to say. And it shows the level of confidence that he had, which is why I did not like Donald Trump, because he didn't have that. To be made fun of is a place of strength. I can't take you seriously unless you don't take yourself seriously. If you're a person to be taken seriously, then you can be made fun of. If you can't be made fun of, you can't be taken seriously. If you're like, do not make that joke about me, it's like, you're a pussy. You have no confidence in yourself. You need to hear good about you all the time. That is a mental and emotional problem. So Bush didn't have that to me. And I appreciate him for that. He killed mountains of Arabs, just mountains of them. And other people, and who knows what else he did. I don't fucking know. But interesting dude.
Yeah.
And the way he reacted to Obama winning was cool.
Yeah.
I like the way he handled that. And in the middle of that, you got another connective tissue guy, which is McCain. McCain was a great man, I think.
Yeah, those clips of him when he's debating Obama and someone's like, he's a Muslim. And he's like,
he goes,
don't
no,
say that.
You got to stop. He was like, he took the microphone away. She goes, he's an Arab, this lady. And he goes, no. Give me. He says, listen, I don't agree with the guy about how to run the country, but he's a good man. We're starting with that he's a good man.
Yeah.
And then there was the lady who yelled out during Sarah Palin's rally. She said, you need gloves to touch him, which is a
Holy
weird
shit.
But it's like, what does that mean? Like, he's very delicate, or
it's the most racist thing I've ever heard.
but also, why do you want to touch him? It's almost like she's like, I want to touch him. Why do I have to wear gloves? But so that was crazy, and McCain handled it as best as he could. There's another McCain thing. Fuck. Oh, he had a great story about Obama. Because he met Obama when Obama was in the Senate. And someone asked McCain, what was your first impression of him? So he said, well, I remember when Obama, his first day, like in the Senate, he came to see me. And he said, listen, I think that, you're the smartest guy on the other side, and I wanted to be bipartisan. And he said, let's you and I talk and find something that we both care about. Like, that was Obama's first idea. And so McCain and him they talked for about an hour, and they came up with something they both cared about. And he's like, let's work on that together. And McCain said, sure. And he was a veteran senator at this point. And Obama goes off, and then the Democratic leadership gets to Obama and goes, dude, you don't just fucking do that. What the fuck are you doing? And then he saw McCain in the hall, Obama, and was like, he just pulled the plug. And so the interviewer asked McCain, you have a bad opinion of him? And he goes, not at all. He said, it was a rookie mistake. It was a rookie mistake that he thought he could just do
think we could get something done.
And also the way he handled the getting out of it was rookie. He said, but I knew that he had a good heart. This is how McCain was such a guy. He was running against the guy, and he kept praising him. But so Obama, we're almost there.
We're so close. It's gonna be dark. Obama. What do you think, man? You like him?
I loved him. I just loved him from the get-go, and I could tell that he was a lot of flash on some level.
Yeah,
but one of the first things I heard about him that impressed me was Biden. Because Biden said he just getting to know him. He said, I got to tell you, he's a really surprising, bright guy, for a black guy.
yeah. Well spoken.
It felt like that a little. But Biden was like, he said, I got on a phone call with him, and there was 3 of us on the call, and then Obama jumped on. He said, I have 4 questions for this group. He asked his questions. He gave his comments, and he got off, and I was like, that guy has got a good mind. The guy's got I do think Obama had a mind that got around the president. He got his brain around it.
Yeah, I think so.
And the picture of him leaning down so some kid could touch his head, that's as important as almost anything with the president.
You ever see Trump put the candy bar on the Minion?
Put the candy bar on the what?
There's a Halloween. They're doing the Halloween thing.
Yeah.
And just a kid in like an inflatable Minion costume comes by, and he's like, he just puts a candy bar on his head. He's like, get out of here.
Obama.
Obama was a great speaker.
And he gave people a feeling about where the country was, and he brought a feeling to the presidency that there was a kindness in it. And I learned a lot from him in terms of confrontation. And like, he debated with McCain, and McCain was just kind of like bulldogging him. And Obama knew that you don't win in the room. You don't win because he says you're right. He's never going to say you're right. There's other people watching. Like, I've learned from this in my life. Like, this guy's going, and Obama would say something, and McCain would attack, and Obama would just go, all right, and just look at the camera and smile. And people at home are going like, I like what he said better. I don't need him to attack this guy to make the point. I like the sound he's making better than his sound. It's not about who wins this. And McCain being like a military guy, this is his way.
You ever get to meet Obama?
I never got to meet Obama, but I was in Washington, and I was a big deal at the time, and I thought maybe I could meet the president. I was staying at the Hay Adams, which is across the street.
You call him? You call the White House?
So I called my publicist, who I no longer have one of those. I used to have an agent and publicist, and I don't have none of these people anymore. But I called my publicist and said, do you think there's any way I could meet the president while I'm in town? As I was on the phone, I saw Marine One taking off, and he was on hold. Then he came back and said that they said he just left. But they said, they asked, and they said that Obama asked to ask you if you would help them come up with jokes for the correspondence dinner, because it was in a few days, and they're meeting to try to write it. And they asked if you come across the street to the White House pitch in? And I said, of course. So I went into the White House and they gave me a pass. And I went down to their little room. The White House, the rooms that aren't the Oval Office are all shit because they keep packing because government never stops growing, but the White House stays the same size. I mean, that's my idea of it. But I was literally, I had to duck into the room because the ceiling was so low. And it was like his head speechwriter. It's John Favreau or something, weird, same name as John Favreau. But anyway, so we sat in his office and I pitched jokes. And I got one in. He opened with my joke, which was because it was his last one. And Trump had won, so it was his swan song. And my joke was, it's an honor to be here for my last correspondence dinner, probably the last correspondence dinner. And it turned out to be true. Trump,
you were close.
Do him. Yeah, Trump.
They just did the first one.
Yes. But anyway, he did that. He opened with my
I was
joke.
hoping you didn't write the one that made Trump the president.
No, that was before. Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, you remember that?
No, I didn't. Yes.
That's one of my favorite clips of all time.
Oh, I mean, Obama was so good.
It's
He was
him
such a
destroying Trump in front of everyone.
and Trump's just sitting there, I'm going to be fucking president, you piece of shit.
It's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
I do respect those moments, just like Cheney in the movie.
Sure.
Where they're like, you got to change it. And I was like, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
It's a cool, like watching Trump sit there with his fucking hair just bobbing while everyone's laughing. It's like, all right, we'll see. We'll see.
Laugh at Trump. See what happens when you laugh at Trump. And that's, by the way,
psycho.
What he was thinking was literally the words, laugh at Trump.
Everybody's laughing at Trump.
Don't laugh, because he talks about he talks about Trump. So Obama wrote me a letter saying, thanks for helping. And I'm a fan and maybe we'll meet someday, but I never met him.
Yeah.
And he went on Mark Maron's podcast and they talk about politics for like 2 hours. And at the end, Maron asked him, did you enjoy being on the show? And Obama said, I thought we were going to talk about comedy. And Maron was like, oh, because he talks about politics everywhere.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, well, who are your favorite comedians? And he says, well, I like Jerry Seinfeld and Dick Gregory. But the guy I really love is Louis, because you can tell, even though he says terrible things, he's a good guy. Something like that. He said something nice about it. Meant a lot to me because I just, with no regard for history or morality, I just love Obama.
Yeah.
I have no idea if he's done good or bad, but as a guy, I just really, I dug him.
Yeah. He seems like he's just an incredible speaker, and he was like what a president should be.
That's right. Just
on appearance,
carrying the office and the way he operated and the way he communicated. And things started getting really fucked up during Obama in this country. People started to get really
the banks. I mean, that was
insane. All that shit, but also just like. The word problematic happened under Obama. Like his last 4 years was when people started getting ultra sensitive and trying to dig down into where is our moral center, to the point where you're just never going to find it because human beings are flawed. And that started, I think Obama left in a strange place because it was like, what were we all doing? I remember seeing famous liberals saying, I'm disappointed in this president. I'm like, yeah, when he was running, Shepard Fairey did the cool poster of him, and Wyclef, whoever the fuck, did a song in black and white video. But once he's president, everyone's like, I'm not gonna. It's not cool to help the president.
Yeah.
So they all just vanished, and he's like, hey guys, I'm the only black guy even here. I'm not just the first black president. I'm the only black guy at this level, and no one's helping me. I mean, that's how I felt, was that he got kind of abandoned, and he couldn't find, and Congress became weird. But I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Again, that's not my expertise. My thing is, I really dug the guy as a person and the way he carried the office. And he was another example where I was like, that feels like a democracy. And a lot of people would be like, well, then you're deluded, fine.
Sure.
But I'm 54 and that's how I feel.
Yeah. That was the first election that I remembered. It seemed to start to get really polarized. Mm-hmm. Like I remember when he won, people I was with were upset.
Yes. That
and that wasn't even close to where we got.
That was the first time I remember the world being that there were people who hated the president. That was the first time. I mean, Reagan, my mom was upset, but one thing I'll say, I know we're getting together.
We're good.
So
obviously, we're gonna close with the dog.
So my mom really surprised me twice in terms. My mom died a couple of years ago, but she was like my best friend and my intellectual counterpart. She's who I talked to about everything. And I remember, first of all, when John Kerry ran for president, I called her up because I have 3 sisters. And my mom and I basically controlled the household vote. So we figured we're super delegates. We have 5 votes.
Yeah.
So they just, because my sisters would vote for whoever we said. My mom was a Republican and a conservative as a kid. And then Jack Kennedy came to speak at Michigan, where she was in college. And a friend of hers grabbed her and said, "You're coming to watch Kennedy." And they sat in the front row with knitting, waiting while the crowd gathered. And then she watched Kennedy speak from this close. And she was a Democrat from that day on. But when I called her and said, "So we're voting for Kerry?" She said, "I'm not voting for that guy." I was like, "What?" And she said, "I won't vote for him. I won't vote at all. Because I can't vote for Bush, but I can't vote for that man because my brother was in Vietnam and we were scared every day that he was going to die. And Kerry came home and spoke against the troops. That's how we felt." And she says, I know now, I look at it differently now, and that he was trying to do good, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth. He was a rich kid and my brother wasn't. And he did one tour, came home and started, grandstanding while there's boys over there getting killed every day. And he was pulling support out from under their feet.
Yeah.
So I can't do it. And I'm like, "Mom, there's more to the story." She's like, "I know, but you can't make me vote for the guy."
"Mom, you have to vote for John Kerry."
You have to vote for John Kerry. He was a fucking, I mean, he's still alive, so I don't want to say, but geez, he had lipstick. He was like, "I report for," he was a mess.
Yeah.
And then his fucking wife, Teresa Hines, "I am Teresa Hines, and I have something to say." It was like, we're done. We lost.
Yeah.
Fuck him. And also, by the fucking way, take that part out.
Oh, wow.
I'm actually,
What?
the one part I want out
Okay.
about, I feel bad because people make mistakes. But
Okay.
when Bush was running against Kerry, a thing that came up that was big was gay marriage. It was starting to be an issue. And I got really angry at John Kerry then because Bush had a really sound argument. It wasn't, and this is when people started just lobbing names at each other, right? It's anti-gay people. It's homophobic to be against gay marriage. Bush made an argument that was practical. He said, "Listen, marriage is the easiest contract in the whole world." And by the way, during that time, they weren't talking about national gay marriage. They were talking about the states that had started to
it was like
legalize.
Massachusetts.
I think California.
Yeah.
So he said, marriage is the simplest contract in the world. It costs $10 in most places, and it's ironclad. And it's accepted all over the world as meaning the same thing. Now, if you start messing with that, and you start saying, "Well, this means this here, it means this there," you're messing with an institution that is the backbone of the family and this country. That is such a good argument. Now, you can argue against it, and people have very well.
Yeah.
This is nothing to be afraid of. This is about their rights, all kinds of things. But the Democrats didn't want to say, this is their right. Why would you, the thing you just said, why would you deprive gay people of it? You're living in a time capsule. This is important. Yeah. It's the same as they said this about interracial marriage. It's a million arguments. But Kerry didn't want to go there. He was like, "Look, it's a man and a woman to me, but I don't think but they're homophobic. They don't like gay people. And Cheney's daughter's gay, and I don't have a problem with Cheney's daughter being gay." They did that.
Yeah.
Edwards did it. Edwards said, because Cheney and him debated. He said, "I think it's great that his daughter's gay. I think that's great. What do you think of that?" And he expected Cheney to have a bad one. And Cheney said, said, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love her. Oh, I mean, they just won right there. So go. I don't know how I got back to him.
We're at the end of
Obama
into Trump. Oh yeah, this is like I was saying. Like I remember when Obama beat Bush or Romney. That was the first time I felt like, oh, this was like totally divided. Because towards the end of Bush, everybody hated Bush. Like that was divided. Half the country,
Yes.
really hated him. Like bands were coming out with music against him. Like
that's why. Because I was saying people hated Obama so much, and it's when I started feeling things coming apart because I had that moment about Bush. I was against Bush as president, but I could see where he was at. And then the other thing it's because of my mom. So when Obama was running, I'm like, we're in for Obama, right? We're doing Obama. And my mom said, I'm not voting for Obama. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, I'm not voting for him because he picked Joe Biden as a vice president. And Hillary Clinton had nearly beat Obama in the primaries. And she had done an incredible campaign. Her campaign was historic because she was the first woman to run effectively for national office and to get that close. It was a big deal. She said she won, and she also remembers when she was younger that typically the guy running for president, his running mate would be his rival. You pick your rival because it's your way of saying, I'm not afraid of my rival. I can work with the people who, it's how you unite the party. It's what Reagan did with Bush. It's what Kennedy did with Johnson. Johnson was bitterly hated Kennedy, and then Kennedy subjugated him by saying, you're going to run with me. We're going to do this together, buddy. And I'm not afraid of your rivalry because I'm strong, right? And he said he didn't pick Hillary and she earned it. And he gave it to Joe. And the name Joe drove her crazy. She didn't care about Biden was fine. She said, Joe Biden's a regular guy. And my mother worked her whole life. She was a single mother. She says, I worked my whole life, and me and women I worked with would earn the spot, and it would be given to Joe. Just some Joe who smiled and knew how to work it.
Yeah.
And the woman who earned it gets fucked. And the reason I hate him for it is because it means he has no balls. My mother said this. Obama has no balls because he picked a guy. He didn't want to pick her because he's afraid of women. And he's afraid of a strong woman. And she said, I'll never vote for him.
I think he was afraid of losing.
She did not use the N-word.
I think he was afraid of losing.
So, no, I don't think that's what happened. But here's what's cool about it. McCain picked Palin. And then my mother said, I'm going to vote for Obama now for the opposite reason, which is McCain picked Palin who's an idiot, a douchebag, a retard, who I personally